hut, hike.
Welcome to the Into the Wild podcast. I'm your host, Nadeem, along with my co-host, Wasé. It's just the Chicago boys tonight. Fortunately, Adil's out sick, and it's going to be a bear show. No, just kidding. We have a packed show for you today.
We do.
It is 2025. That means that we're a quarter way through the century. So we're going to give you an all NFL quarter century team on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be like a little back and forth draft. Then Wass is going to have a team. I'm going to have a team. We're going to do a breakdown of the start bench cut for the NFC East. And we have an interesting debate. Another would you rather, but an interesting one involving our very own Mr. Malik Nabers. Thank you guys so much for all of your feedback and all of the positive reaction that we've been seeing on TikTok.
All the haters too. I want to thank you guys also because you make the algorithms go.
Yeah, the TikTok is popping off. So check out our TikTok clips. We love all of the interactions. It's a great time. But check us out on YouTube. We don't have that many views and subscribers over there. So go on and check out our YouTube channel for the full length long form podcast edition. So my friend, you ready to go?
I am.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. News. So before we get into anything, the news that we have going on this week in the NFL, a couple of marginally big things.
One's pretty significant, and then the other one is we kind of saw it coming, but who cares? Like
the whole offseason.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers finally decided to sign with the Steelers.
Bum. Can't wait to beat his ass and work week 7, 8, 9, whatever the hell it is. It's gonna be cool because it's gonna be in Chicago too. So I can't wait to play them. Bastard.
And it's weird because this is honestly, I can't remember a signing like this. It was rumored for so many months almost. And it was even said that he signed with the Steelers in secrecy. And I don't know.
He said he wanted to take some time because he needs to have kids or wants to have kids now at age 41, which is, I guess, normal for a lot of, high profile athletes. But it was just funny. He goes, I got to think about what I want to do in my future because he has a girlfriend he wants to settle down.
Oh, he has a girtime now.
Yeah. I think he talks to someone in his family too now. I thought he was estranged from them.
His girlfriend, someone in his family.
No. I'm saying he talks to people in his family. Because for the longest time he didn't talk to anyone in his family because he was they just want my money. Yeah. Selfish bastard.
So Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers. It's just the spinning wheel of quarterbacks for the Steelers. It goes on. Post Ben Roethlisberger, they haven't been able to figure it out, and it's just like a weird situation that they put in. And especially when you see guys like Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, you would expect, chase after the veteran that wasn't really in a good situation, try to give him good weapons or a good coaching staff.
I mean, they tried that with Justin Fields,
but we don't know Justin.
They gave him 6 games. I almost
true,
I
feel
like
Russ. I mean, Russ is a future Hall of Famer to some degree, to some folks.
But this is one of those spots that is going to become available for those next 3 draft classes that we were talking about.
For
so
sure.
high on,
and
right?
there's a plethora of quarterbacks coming out. So
the other piece of news: our very own Adil's starting center, Frank Ragnow, retires from the NFL.
Tough loss, but I don't want to turn injury. I don't feel bad for you guys.
I think that's a huge blow for the Lions.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge. I think that
humongous blow.
I mean, we can debate with him when he gets back, but
there's literally statistics about when Frank Ragnow's in the game versus when he's not, how bad the Lions are as an offense. And it feels like this is like the block that tumbles everything over. And Frank Ragnow seems like he was the guy for that offensive line. And now they don't have that. And Decker's getting older. And they don't have a right guard. And their left guard is mediocre at best. Honestly, it feels good.
Yeah, I feel like without Ben Johnson scheming up the offense, but then also Frank Ragnow, he took so much off of Mahogany's plate.
Oh, yeah. No, Zeitler played last year.
And Zeitler, both. Mahogany still played last year. But if you watch the film, it's Frank Ragnow that's really able to take on, some of the best interior defenders in the game and then also help out with chip blocks.
Yeah. I think Mahogany didn't get a chance this year, but it was Zeitler and who's the other guy? Graham Glasgow, the guy from Northern Illinois. Or from DeKalb, sorry. Him and then those 3 guys were a solid interior offensive lineman, but now we're probably not going to see them be as dominant as they used to be in the run game. And it's great to see because Decker's going to be on his last. He's getting older. He's going to be on his last legs eventually, and then they only have Peneso, and they have to rebuild that whole thing all over again. So I'm happy. Not that he got injured, but I'm happy that they're crumbling as a franchise.
It's also the first week of training camp, so a lot of players are either in or out of OTAs. it's interesting to see guys like Hassan Reddick finally actually show up to I think voluntary training camp for the first time in like how long?
Several years. Didn't he just get traded to the
Bucks.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin is not showing up to training camp. Contract disputes. I mean, again, one of the most overrated rosters right now that we've talked about with the Washington Commanders. If they lose Terry McLaurin, they are relying on Debo. I mean, if they want to trade it, I've seen like those Bleacher Report little posts that come out that are like,
a lot of them are written on by AI now, right?
The trade packages.
A lot of those freaking articles are written by AI. But no, I mean Terry McLaurin, he's 29 years old, right? 29 or 30 years old. He was an older wide receiver when he came into the league. So like he's trying to get his last payday, and I don't fault him for that. You had a great year, and like now you see like how valuable you are to your team when you have a good quarterback. Throwing to use, get paid, man.
Yeah, I think they have to do that almost because if they lose Terry McLaurin as number one, you'll have Debo as your number one. It's not going to look good. On the flip side of things, man, that Caleb and Rome connection is kind of looking nice in camp so far. The Bears
looked nice last year, man.
Good.
Don't show me training camp highlights. Just show me in the games. I don't care.
I don't know, man. We'll see. But it's looking pretty good. So with the Lions coming down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
The Packers actually, JJ McCarthy is also looking great in training camp. Like he's like the star of everyone's training camp.
Did you see that one video picture
on the run?
Like the one that they're ranking quarterbacks in the NFL and they have him 12th ranked.
Yeah. Caleb's 21. Yeah. Crazy.
Like I like JJ McCarthy a lot. He's a Chicago kid, and I liked him in the pre-draft process. But 12th is insane. Yeah. But I wouldn't be shocked if he did well because he has a great team and good coaching staff around him.
All right. So without further ado, let's get into this NFL all-quarter century team. We will be selecting the positions through. Oh, wow. And look at that. The number one position is the quarterback position.
Oh, wow. But are we going to keep Tom Brady in this, or are we removing Tom Brady?
Let's remove Tom Brady. Let's remove Tom Brady. Okay, cool. Because I feel like that is chalk. Can we flip a coin or something to see who goes first? I'll think of a number. 1 through 10. Got it? Yep. All right, 6.
5.
All right, cool. Pressure situation. Oof. My heart's telling me something. My brain's telling me something else. And I'm going to go with, to start us off, I think going to be seen differently now, especially in today's day and age where we're like heavy social media, heavy negativity, heavy criticism. He's lost a couple Super Bowls. He lost one really badly recently. I'm going to go Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, I feel like it was a no-brainer. Yeah.
The best quarterback talent we've ever seen. He's a 3-time Super Bowl. I think he's the best quarterback talent we've ever seen. No one.
As an arm, like a throwing talent?
Arm on the run, the mixture of his arms and legs, like the things that he can do with his legs. The way last year that he dominated all of a sudden with his legs in, what is this, year 8 of his? 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time NFL MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP. What is it? 5? I think it's 5 Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah. 5.
And no. I mean, he is inevitable. He is the current standard in the NFL.
I think we should have removed Patrick Mahomes also.
You want to remove Patrick Mahomes?
Because it's like hard to really make that. Like, give me the guys that won like one Super Bowl and like have a questionable like legacy. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are like the 2 greatest players ever for the game.
Okay, I feel like the next pick is chalk. Like they would still be chalk.
No.
You think so?
No, I don't think so. I think that, I guess. Okay. You know what? Let's just keep Patrick Mahomes. It's fine.
Let's keep Patrick Mahomes.
For me, it hurts me to say this, but I think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football we've ever seen with an elite in the pocket mobility skill that we've ever seen as well too. He's so accurate, one of the most accurate quarterbacks we've ever seen, with one of the strongest arms. It is like downfield thrower I think I've ever seen. I don't think Pat's been as consistent as him. Drew Brees has never been as consistent as him either. Neither has Peyton. Rodgers is literally the greatest.
Peyton Manning has not been as consistent as
throwing the deep
Aaron
ball.
Rodgers.
Throwing the deep ball specifically.
Oh my God.
Aaron is one of the most inevitable Thanos type quarterbacks I've ever seen. You could never really count yourself out when
That's because we're Bears fans.
No, forget the Bears. The Jeff Janis touchdown in the playoffs against the Cardinals. There's just so many moments where I've seen him just dominate or just make something happen. The Lions, Packers, walk-off touchdown. He just launched up to, I think it was a Janis or no?
Richard Rodgers.
Richard Rodgers. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's just so many like of those moments.
He's got a lot of
done.
moments like
So
those
many clutch
Thanos
moments.
like clutch type of game. Like you think you're in it, and then all of a sudden he comes in and he kind of kills the show.
So I just
but he
can't.
doesn't win. He's not a winner.
He's not a Super Bowl. He's not a multiple Super Bowl winner.
I mean, how many Super Bowls did he even make? How many NFCs did he win?
He's had one Super Bowl win.
That's it.
And one appearance.
One appearance.
Yeah, but he has like
one NFC championship. He's had loaded talent on his rosters.
Loaded.
He's had
a
one
lot
of the best
of times. He's had one of the
league.
worst. Like I don't want to defend him. He's definitely underachieved in his career. But as a talent, literally one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen, if not the greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
I think it's crazy to take him over Peyton.
I don't think it's crazy.
I think it's absolutely crazy.
I think they're both great. I think Peyton got carried for his last title. Rodgers may have that year this year. You never know. But
no, there's no chance.
I mean, like, Peyton underachieved also. Like, Peyton's underachieved significantly.
It depends on, like, the bar for...
Because they both have the same amount of MVPs.
The bar for achievement to us has been elevated way too high by Tom Brady.
And Patrick Mahomes.
Now. And, like, you can be a successful quarterback without winning in multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah, of course.
But I just think that Peyton, what he does in terms of reading a defense, in terms of his...
Smartest quarterback ever.
Yeah, mental IQ, QB IQ, what he made out of Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, like Dallas Clark.
There are literally 3 Hall of Fame players you just mentioned in front of an offense, like an offensive line that was also great as well, too.
Yeah, well, Peyton was Peyton.
And had Marshall Falk early on, and then had Edgerrin James early on. Like, come on.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't just have scrubs.
He didn't have Hall of Fame wide receivers.
Is Devontae Adams going to make the Hall of Fame?
Maybe.
Probably.
He's not anywhere near Reggie or Marvin Harrison.
What are we talking about? Really?
I don't think so. At least me, I don't think so. Jordan Nelson's not a Hall of Famer. Donald Driver, great longevity, not a Hall of Famer. Greg Jennings,
I think that's crazy to say.
Great wide receiver, not a Hall of Famer.
I think that's crazy. Devontae Adams, I would probably say, is better than Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne.
You're out of your freaking mind.
No, I think he is. All right, next position. Left guard.
Left guard.
Ooh. I went first last time, so you go first.
Left guard.
I feel like there's literally only one name for this.
No, there's a couple. Like Chris Lindstrom's good, but I feel like he's a little too recent.
Chris Lindstrom from all time?
Not all time. I'm a quarter century team. The other guy is Quentin Nelson because he literally was like a generational prospect and was good, but fell off. It's hard because there hasn't been a lot of consistent like guards outside of like Quentin and Zach, but even Quentin hasn't been that great. F it. I'll just do Quentin Nelson.
You want to go into that at all?
No, I just think, what am I supposed to say? Oh, he blocks really well.
He's a generational prospect.
You mentioned that, yeah. A prospect coming out of college. I think he was the highest drafted guard ever in like the top 10 or like top 7 or whatever it was. Literally was a perfect prospect. Can pass block, can run block, athletic as hell. I just think he's one of the best, overall talents that we've seen.
All right, I'm going to go Logan Mankins, who surprisingly doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, but was with the Patriots from right after they won the Super Bowl against the Eagles in 2005, and then all the way to the year before they won the Super Bowl against the Seahawks in 2014. He's one of the all-time greats. Yeah. Like, I think he's just what he provides, the security, that blanket protection, that New England offensive line from like 2003 to 2000, almost 8. You could put all these guys in here. Yeah. But Logan Mankins was the standout on the left side of the line. And I think he has his flowers, and I think he's one of the greatest. Let's do left tackle next.
That one's tough because there's a lot of good ones.
There is a lot of good ones. And I feel like also because there isn't that many right tackles that were really, really good over the past quarter century, that they're going to be thrown into that way. Yeah. But, I mean, to me, it's between 2.
Yeah,
I'll go first. I'll say my guys. Joe Thomas, Cleveland
2 guys. Joe Thomas was the second guy to you?
He was the first guy
over Walter Jones.
Yeah, but I had Walter Jones then as my right tackle pick.
My God, he's the greatest left tackle to ever play the game. You have him on your right tackle.
But I have Joe Thomas there because I think that he's just like, from what I saw, he was
from
one
the
of the
modern game. Maybe if you run a lot of West Coast offense, run out in space, maybe. But dude, not Walter Jones. What's the guy? No, Jonathan
Ogden. Yeah,
I'm tripping. Jonathan Ogden is like my number 1 guy. I'm sorry for left tackle. Literally a mammoth of a human being. Was like 6'9", 350, 360, whatever the hell it is, long ass arms, can run around in space, athletic as hell. Jonathan Ogden's the greatest left tackle we've ever seen, I think. And so, yeah, I'm going to choose him.
Okay. And then let's just do our right tackle with it.
My guy's going to be Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
Obviously, Hall of Fame right tackle. Has shown longevity. Was the best player in one of the worst drafts ever. I think that was like 2013, where like Barcavius Mingo and like Justin Gilbert and all those guys came out of, but he was like the
Justin
one
Gilbert,
Yeah.
Oklahoma State legend.
Yeah, I think he was like one of the only lone bright spots from that team. Still played at a high level, can play multiple different schemes, wide zone-based blocking scheme, and gaps blocking scheme. So he can do it all in run game.
Where'd he go to school? The University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner.
Yeah.
So I have, again, like I said, like I had Walter Jones on my right side.
Yeah.
He was versatile. He played mostly on the left side, but he was an amazing tackle overall, one of the greatest of all time. And then a couple honorable mentions. Orlando Pace, can't forget him, one of the greatest tackles of all time. Rams, Super Bowl champion, and then played with the Bears. And
he played right tackle for us, and he was so bad.
Yeah, that's where his career ended, basically. I got to give another Oklahoma Sooner legend, Trent Williams.
Yeah.
One of the best left tackles to ever do it. He's literally carried this iteration of the San Francisco 49ers. He has been so good, so consistent.
The longevity is crazy.
Absolute baller since he came from that. They traded him from the Commanders.
Yeah.
And he's been great. And then one more, I'm thinking like Andrew Whitworth. I feel like he was a solid player.
He's good.
It was long. He had a great pass blocking, run blocking.
Yeah, like the legacy that you'd want.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Oh, you know who I forgot for left guard? Joe Tooney. Literally a Hall of Fame guy.
Multiple. So let's go right guard. Who's your guy for right guard?
Can I do Larry Allen from the Cowboys? Because I think he came in like 93 or something like that. No, never mind. Played till 2000, I think.
You didn't mention your guy.
Zach Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's no Larry Allen. Larry Allen's literally the greatest right guard. Greatest guard ever.
Was he 90s?
He was like early 90s, but he played into the 2000s. And I feel like if he's had like a couple All-Pros in the 2000s, then he deserves to be on that list. Because if that's so, I'm going to choose the greatest right guard to ever play the game.
Yeah. I mean,
greatest guard to ever play the game. Yeah. Yeah, Larry Allen.
All right.
Rest in peace. Love you, Larry.
Well, Zach Martin is an option, but I wanted to go with my initial pick. It was Marshall Yanda. Ravens, one of the greatest guards I've ever seen. Yeah. He was just amazing, and his blocking PFF grades are just like off the charts. He was one of the greatest to ever do it. Let's do center and knock off all of the offensive line.
Centers. Who do I want as my center? There's a lot of like tweeners centers, like Jason Kelsey and Owen Kreutz, and like guys who are just like played with an edge. But if I were to think or say that like the best center that I would want, maybe I would go with like Kevin Maui from the Titans. And then remember Kevin Maui? Center that played for the Titans. Hall of Fame career. Was great. Obviously very smart. Call out any protections. And it's just, just an overall great center.
I'm going to go Jason Kelsey. I think that's an easy pick for me. He created one of the most unstoppable plays of all time that recently didn't get banned, so it's going to keep on going, and his legacy really goes with it. He's a player that is going to be, for sure, looked at so much higher post-career than he was during his actual NFL career.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, like, you didn't hear about Jason Kelsey much in the media until, like, 21, 22.
I feel like when you found out he was a Kelsey is kind of why.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, his name value added so much to him, but you don't really think of, like, him as his play. But when you look at the actual game, like, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Spearheaded and it's still like that offensive line is still great because of his tutelage and his learnings from that team. All right, let's get juicy. Let's go tight end.
This one's hard. How many tight ends are we doing?
Should we do two? Let's do two.
Are we running 12? What type of person are we running?
I mean, we're doing two running backs, three wide receivers, and two tight ends.
Oh, okay. Are you going first, or am I going first? Or do we can go back and forth?
Yeah, like a one snake.
Yeah. I'll go
first.
one, and then you go one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go Rob Gronkowski.
Okay.
Greatest tight end we've ever seen. Didn't have the longevity, obviously, but his peak was the greatest peak we've ever seen. He was considered like a second offensive lineman, or I'm sorry, a seventh offensive. No, not seventh. The sixth offensive lineman. Could block better than most folks could. Left tackles or tackles could. I mean, he was so great at blocking. Was always great at like finding like the soft part of the zone, and was so hard to take down. Rob Gronkowski's easily the greatest.
Yeah, for me, it's so hard. Obviously, Gronk has kind of solidified that, but closely behind him, and I think it's a lot closer than people will give him credit for because he's so versatile. He plays the game so different where you can line him up at different positions. Gronk is like unstoppable force, immovable object. Yeah. He is a mismatch for any defender. But someone else who's also a mismatch in that light, in that same tone where he can take the top off a defense while also providing great blocking, while also lining up in the slot and playing like receiver basically is Tony G. I think he's one of the greatest pass catchers in the game of all time. And I don't think he gets the respect or credit that he deserves because he wasn't on like a Super Bowl winning team or ever like a great team. But the fact that he had a Hall of Fame career with the Chiefs and then goes over to the Falcons and then also produces with the Falcons late in his career, I think that just speaks to his freaking longevity, versatility, and then just dominance as a tight end. Yeah. And then this one it's tough. I'll tell you who I'm not picking. I'm not picking Travis Kelce.
Why?
To me, it's between, again, like for a position like tight ends, for a position like wide receiver, I like traits. Yeah. I like to say I could pick this guy up and throw him on any team and he would dominate. Right. And George Kittle is a dominant tight end. Yeah. I think I literally game-breaking dominant tight end, and I think he is better than Travis Kelce.
Because not only can he like run routes, not only can find block, he can get open. Not that that's all that to do, but like he can pass block, run block. Literally, like there's no weakness to his game.
Exactly.
He's like 6'4", 250, and can just strong as nails. Like, that's actually a really freaking solid pick. I was gonna pick him had you not picked him right now because he's just like literally the perfect tight end.
Yeah, and like at 31, he doesn't show signs of slowing down.
So great route runner.
Debo's gone, so I think he's gonna have a great year this year. Yeah. Duke is dealing with injury. He's gonna be Brock Purdy's number one in the offense. Yeah. Great route runner, great blocker. Yeah. One of the best blocking tight ends probably of all time. Easily. He is so good. Yeah. And he's there for me.
A good pick. Because I was like, man, if I get Gronk and George Kittle, I could run 12 personnel, still keep a defense on their toes, and then run the ball down your throat.
Imagine George Kittle on that Aaron Hernandez role in the offense for those 2011 Patriots.
That would have been so nasty.
Crazy.
Damn. That's hard now. Because like now I don't know who's also like, I wouldn't go Shannon Sharp. I feel like he's
290s.
Yeah, and he never played. He only played like a little bit in the 2000s. Yeah. Okay, it's either Antonio Gates or Travis Kelce, and I think it's gonna be Travis Kelce just because the pedigree of his play. Probably the third greatest tight end of all time. So you know what? I got me a blocking threat and
he's a great route runner. He's a great hands. He's just not as dynamic as those other guys that we mentioned.
Yeah, he's limited in some parts. He's just a great pass catcher.
I feel like tight end, especially like when we're looking at it, it shouldn't be an achievement award. It shouldn't be like the best tight end shouldn't be the one that has the most trophies. That doesn't correlate to me. Yeah. Like tight end and rings don't matter to me. Yeah. Great were you on an offense? How dominant were you? Nope. How much of a mismatch were you? How good at blocking were you? And I think guys like Gates is close, but I think Shannon Sharp was better for sure.
Gates?
No, than Kelce.
Shannon Sharp better than Kelce? Dude, no freaking way.
I think
there's no way. Shannon Sharp wasn't a blocker. Shannon Sharp was a tiny guy. He wasn't a great blocker. He was obviously a great pass catcher. Was an overachiever. Was drafted in the 7th round and then had a great career. Like, Travis Kelce he's top 3 at the very least.
I mean, I will right here say he's top 4. Maybe top 5. Like, I'll take Gronk over him. I'll take TG over him. And I'll take Kittle over him.
Maybe overall skill set.
Like, take legacy out of it. And
I mean, legacy is what matters a lot too in this conversation because it's an all-century team. Like,
I don't know.
You're tripping. That's crazy. Anyways,
all right, let's go to. Again, we're gonna do 2 running backs. I have my pick.
I already want to go first because you're a Sooner fan.
I mean, that's not even it. He's just the greatest running back I've ever seen. Like from the jump.
Who's your number 1? Am I going first?
You can go first.
I'm going to go LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
Was that your guy? No. Really? And then I get a snake, right?
It's my turn. What do you mean I got a snake?
Because you got a snake the last time. I haven't gotten a snake yet.
You went first. Last time. You said Gronk.
Oh, yeah. And then don't I get another snake? Oh, because I finished up. Never mind. Right. I'm tripping, man. It's late.
I'm going Adrian Peterson. Again, the greatest running back I've ever seen. I was a baby when Barry Sanders called it quits early. I've watched tape on Emmitt Smith, and I don't think Emmitt Smith was there. Obviously, the late, great Walter Payton, rest in peace. He can be in the conversation. But AP, what this man did, the precedent that he set from returning from ACLs and winning an MVP, all the controversies that he had, still coming back to the league and dominating for almost a decade, basically. And just a physical presence, carrying the Vikings to the playoffs with guys like Tavares Jackson, Christian Ponder. I mean, I've never seen a running back carry a team like Adrian Peterson did, and he led a team to the playoffs. That is insane, especially in today's day and age with the modern day passing, quarterback stats being inflated like crazy. It's a quarterback league. The offense runs the show, but it's a quarterback-driven league. It's a passing league, and he was really the last great running back that just was a dominant force.
Yeah, like your old school running back, Bell Cow, that played for 10, 12 years and,
But just like at that size, to have the versatility, to be able to be a great pass catching back, to be able to juke and cut the way that he did. That 3 touchdown game against the Bears in his rookie year is like stitched into my brain.
296 yards, 297 yards?
That was against the Chargers. Yeah. But like came 9 yards short to breaking Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record. I mean, he could do it all. The one problem he had, the one flaw in his game was fumbling. But outside of that,
I feel like that was like his rookie year also.
No,
it wasn't that bad after
his
that.
First 4 years, basically.
Okay.
But again, like the greatest running back I've ever seen.
Yeah, one of the greatest physical specimens we've ever seen.
Yeah. And then my second pick, again, might be weird because it's tough. There's been so many great running backs, but none of them sustain long careers. Yeah. And it might sound like a stupid pick or a recency bias, but I got to go Saquon. I think just the generational prospect that he was coming out of college, being able to sustain that, go through injury, come back, and just dominate, kind of similar to just those like game-breaking long runs that, we saw, 6 runs over, I think it was 50 yards this past year. Yeah. Insanity. But yeah, Saquon's my second pick.
I was going to go with Saquon, and then you took him. So now I'm trying to think of who I liked back in the day. I know, I can't stand it. Trying to think of a running back that I like enough that I want to pick for like the rest of like humanity. Who is someone that I like? Because, okay, LaDainian Tomlinson, I never delved into him. Obviously, one of the greatest running backs ever play the game. Could catch, could throw, could run. Obviously, was elusive as hell. Ashton Genty's a guy that reminds me of like LaDainian Tomlinson, so I'm really happy that I have LT. But now I need like a good complementary back. Ashton Genty and LaDainian Tomlinson look so similar. Sometimes it's not even funny.
Running styles, yeah, they do.
Yeah. Since I have I feel like LaDainian wasn't like super fast. And I kind of want to have you know what? Give me, because I think that LaDainian Tomlinson can be the shifty guy out in the backfield, and then my change of pace back is going to be Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, yeah. That's what I was.
Hit 2,000 yards twice in his career, and then and then he had that one season where he rushed for 1,000 yards, but only played 8 or 9 games. So just dominant. He is probably the last great running back considering his longevity.
I mean, Saquon is doing it now.
Saquon's only 27. Derrick Henry's in his 30s.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Saquon's carrying on that legacy of that bell cow back. Like Christian McCaffrey could be in the mix. I don't think he's a great. I think he's just shifty and he's very fast. And he can catch the ball like a receiver out of the backfield. Sean Alexander was a guy that I was thinking about. MVP.
He led them to that Super Bowl in 2005.
Yeah. And I mean Matt Hasselbeck and that he was okay. But and then I had guys like CJ2K in my head who were just Jamal Charles, Le'Veon Bells.
But just not long enough.
Not long enough. Yeah. Todd Gurley's. I was just thinking
Gurley, if he didn't get injured, probably would have been up there.
Yeah. All right. The best for last. It's wide receiver. And you want me to go first? You want to go first?
You can go first because I've been eating snakes.
I'm going to go one of my favorite wide receivers of all time. I think he's the greatest wide receiver of all time, is Randy Moss.
Oh, okay. The amount of conversation we had about this one guy, I was like,
who's going to come up probably. Yeah. But Randy Moss, I mean, great.
Literally one of the greatest. Yeah.
One of the greatest.
Second greatest wide receiver of all time.
Probably second greatest wide receiver of all time. But if you're talking about pure skill set, what he could do, double team him, triple team him. Yeah. Just that year, even with Brady, the year even against the Raiders, on the Raiders, he was productive. What he did in Minnesota to start his career, him and Chris Carter together. Yeah. What he did after even going to San Fran and making the Super Bowl with them.
Oh yeah, shoot, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I think Randy is just all around probably one of the most gifted players we've ever seen, but also one of the probably the greatest receiver I've ever seen.
He's 6'4", ran 4.21.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Name. You get 2 picks?
I'm going to go Calvin Johnson, number 1. I think he's the ultimate X receiver, probably one of the greatest X receivers we've ever seen. He's only second to Randy Moss in terms of that big body wide receiver. Even though Randy was more of a slender guy, Calvin Johnson, you like double team and triple team. And we've seen so many highlights of this guy just in the end zone, like swarmed by people. I don't remember if you watched the Dallas Cowboys game where it was like Brandon Carr and I forgot who else it was. But they were both jamming him like he was like a punt return or a gunner, like like in a punt kickoff team, guarding him like that. I saw 3 guys all over him and him still going up there and grabbing the ball. Literally one of the most physically gifted players we've ever seen. Not the greatest route runner, but I don't think he needed to do that. He was just so big and fast, athletic. I think he's my number 1 X receiver. And then I'm gonna go with a slot receiver before I go for my why. So not that this player was only a slot receiver, but I think he was the greatest, if not like one of the greatest players or wide receivers in his era, and that's Antonio Brown.
Okay.
I think his 6-7 year run was one of the greatest runs we've ever seen. His peak was amazing. Touchdowns, yardage, receptions. He just had it all. It was a nasty route runner. Made Pittsburgh better than they actually were. Yeah, AB. I know the whole CTE thing is what kind of went crazy for him, and he's fallen off since then. But literally so good. I'm glad he got his ring with Brady and Bucks.
I'm gonna go with my guy, who I think is, again, hated on so much on this podcast. I think he is overlooked.
Hated on.
Unhated. 6'3", 220, runs a 4.3. Probably the greatest wide receiver prospect we've ever seen in college football. Translates it to the NFL.
Greatest prospects?
Greatest wide receiver prospect.
Greatest. Number 1.
That we've probably in the last 20 years, yeah.
Over Calvin.
Out of college?
Out of college. Yeah. Brother, Calvin Johnson was selected 2nd in the NFL draft.
Yeah, but
he was literally...
He played at, like, Georgia Tech?
Yeah, it doesn't matter where he played at.
Yeah, this guy played at Bama.
It doesn't matter.
It so matters who you're dominating in college.
It's
Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Julio Jones. I mean, what can't this guy do?
What a homer, man. Oh, my God.
It is intermediate routes, short routes. The footwork is there. The deep routes are there. I mean, he can throw.
The touchdowns aren't, though. The touchdowns
doesn't matter.
They do matter.
But like, we're not quantifying Super Bowl rings with tight ends. Touchdowns. He scored touchdowns. He had a season with 1,800 receiving yards. That doesn't happen to everybody.
I'm not saying it does.
He is phenomenal.
Literally, the season was like
nightmare mismatch. He was double teamed constantly in the
How
red
many
zone.
double-digit seasons has he had touchdowns with?
He was double teamed
Once.
constantly
10.
in the red zone.
My guy, Calvin Johnson was being guarded like he was gunner.
Sure. But I'm not saying he's a better receiver than Calvin. But since Calvin, probably the best receiver. Julio Jones is my 2nd pick.
I'm gonna let this guy have his fun.
My 3rd pick,
goofy.
Again, like, I don't want to do recency bias, but I think, I think I'm going to go Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be one of the best receivers of all time. He's been doing it for 6 years now? 5 years? 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And just out of this world production. Done it with the Nick Mullins of the world.
Yeah.
The, Kirk Cousins. Did it with freaking Sam Darnold. Literally made Sam Darnold have a career payday, career year. He is a nightmare mismatch. I mean, he's a mismatch and a nightmare for opposing defenses. And I just think he's one of the best pure receivers we've seen.
Yeah, easily. I love Jettas.
And I think he's going to edge his way into top 5 pretty soon.
So what, you went Randy,
Julio,
Jettas. Damn, that'd be tough. You got your X, your Y, and your Z in your slot.
Yeah.
Jettas can play both inside and inside. Damn, I need someone really good. Trying to think. Someone that'd be really hard to defend. So I got Calvin, who's fast, obviously. Got AB, who's my route guy who can get open, separate. And then I need someone fast, man.
Damn, if only there was a cheetah that you could pick.
I know. I mean, that's the one guy that's coming to my mind, but I'm like, man, I also don't want to put him up there. I mean, he's had a great career. He's won a title. Has been one of the best wide receivers the past 7-8 years. You know what? Fine. Yeah, let's go Tyreek Hill. One of the best ball trackers we've ever seen. Obviously, great elite speed. I think he ran like a 4.25 or something like that. So I'm gonna get track speed with him, and I'll find. And I know that I can just throw it up there, and he'll have like the acceleration and like the ball skills to come and grab it. So Tyreek, Calvin.
I feel like we're kind of underrating him on this pod. Like he is great. He was the number 1 receiver for so many years. Patrick Mahomes is go-to guy. Really, without Tyreek, we could be talking about a different Patrick Mahomes. Another guy we got to mention, some honorable mentions. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest to ever do it. Andre Johnson, Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae's
one of the best pure route runners we've ever seen. Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. That was
He
a
is
nasty boy.
Actually, he would have been sick on your team.
Yeah. Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's up there.
Marvin
Reggie
Harrison's
Wayne.
up. Reggie Wayne and Marshall.
Yeah, B. Marsh. Who else? I feel like I'm forgetting people. DeAndre Hopkins.
D-Hop's peak was pretty
good.
valid.
Just a great possession receiver. Who else? There's a ton. This is like the era of wide receivers. I don't know how we're forgetting wide receivers.
Mike Evans.
Yeah, good consistent guy.
Yeah.
But not anyone I'd be like crazy about.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
So that about wraps up the list. Let us know whose team you guys like the most.
Recap your team.
So I have Patrick Mahomes with AP and Saquon, with Randy, Julio, and Jettas, with Joe Thomas, Logan Mankins, Jason Kelsey, Marshall Yanda, and Walter Jones. That's nasty.
You forgot your tight ends.
And then my tight ends are Tony.
And who else? And then my tight ends are Rob Gronkowski. Oh, you know what? Solid team. Travis Kelsey, with my left tackle being Jonathan Ogden. Got Quentin Nelson as my left guard. Kevin Monway as my center. Then
Larry Allen.
Oh yeah, shit, man. My offensive line is solid. Lane Johnson. Oh yeah, I'm cooking.
So next week it's going to be interesting to see what defenses we both choose to match up against these literally all-time offenses.
Yeah.
But let us know who you guys think, at least on the offensive side of the ball, whose offense is better, whose offense you're more aligned to. Watson got all the recency picks, so all the kids are going to probably flock to him, but we'll see. So
the guy who said Jettas, George Kittle, and who else did you choose? Saquon.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, the best. All right, next segment. Start, bench, cut. NFC East. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. At quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott. Start, bench, cut.
I'm starting Dak because I love me and my Cowboys. Dak Prescott. Honestly, got the MVP route from him 2 years ago. He should have been the MVP of the league. And I think he's just developed great. Like, once he had that ankle injury and like couldn't run anymore, he was able to develop as a passer. And I think he's one of the best quarterbacks out there in the league. I think he's top 7 to me. And then I'm going to go with, who am I cutting in this? We all know how I feel about Jalen Hurts. I think he's one of the most mediocre quarterbacks I've ever seen, if I've seen one. He is great with the tush push. But outside of like the rushing ability, he's literally so limited as a passer. Does not have the strongest arm. Is not very crazy accurate. I know he just won the Super Bowl, but I think he is like now like what franchises look for now. He's like the use case of like, we have a quarterback that if we build around him just enough that he can win us the Super Bowl, and that's what Jalen Hurts is to me. So I'm going to cut Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to go Jaden Daniels as my bench quarterback, just because I think he's a better thrower. I think he's a better rusher. Jaden Daniels, start Dak Prescott, bench Jaden Daniels, and then cut Jalen Hurts.
I think I'm going to go the same.
Yeah,
I think I had Hurts over Prescott.
Really?
And I didn't have
as a
Jaden
quarterback,
Daniels.
or just like because
he's won.
I mean, like I'm happy he's won. He's a very deserving quarterback.
If we're thinking about it, deepen it, especially going into this season. Jalen Hurts has a secret weapon that Dak Prescott doesn't, and he has the tush push.
Yes, and Saquon Barkley.
As much as we hate on the tush push, that is a game changer because that play can take over a game, whether it's a fourth and short or a goal-to-goal scenario.
Yeah.
With the Cowboys not having a good offensive line, with Cowboys having running back issues, CD now being the only target, with Pickens now opens up the Cowboys offense a bit. As a pure passer, it's definitely Prescott. Overall, though, I think Hurts can help a game better. So I'm going to go start Hurts.
Wow. After all that hate that you gave him.
Yeah.
Because you're going to choose the Eagles offensive line in this. Clearly. Yeah. Okay. Bastard.
Because I think Dak is better than Jaden. Right now, I think Dak is better than Jaden. Yeah. Jaden's obviously ascending, but he's also inflated by first read options, wide open throws, great throwing lanes, a good offensive line. But man, do I want to go Jaden? No, I'm definitely going Dak over Jaden. Jalen over Dak seems so weird to say.
I know. I mean, not to a lot of people. I feel like a lot of folks would choose Jalen over Dak just because Dak has a history of choking. If you're a ball knower, Dak Prescott's a better quarterback.
But 2 games before the Super Bowl, the Eagles press was all about A.J. Brown having an issue with Jalen Hurts. So it's not like he automatically flipped the switch and then threw it on. I'm going to go Dak. I think Dak's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Yeah. So I'm going to go start Dak, bench Jalen Hurts, and cut Jaden Daniels. I think it is.
That's fair. Yeah. That's very
all right, running back, rooms. Because this is outside of Saquon, we're doing this because obviously Saquon would be the easy. start, and we did this with Derek Emily last week. The Commanders have Brian Robinson, Eckler. They have Jeremy McNichols. They have Chris Rodriguez. The Giants have Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo, and the Cowboys have Javonte Williams and etc. Who are we starting, benching, cutting?
God, this is so bad. I don't even know. I think I'm gonna go with the Giants with Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to start the Giants.
Just because you have like a good receiver in both those guys actually, and then Cam Scatterbo is like a nice, the white David Montgomery is what I call him.
More of a power back. They got like a little yin and yang.
Yeah,
So I like that.
yeah. But like with the Cowboys, you only have like journeymen with Javonte and Miles Sanders and whoever the hell they have.
Oh my god, that's so gross.
And then they drafted two guys this past draft, but who knows how they work out. And then who's the other team?
The Commanders.
And they got Eckler and Brian Robinson. Honestly, I think the correct answer is the Redskins or the Commanders.
Yeah.
Just because, they're proven commodities and we've seen what they can do. Eckler's a year older. Starting to look washed. Yeah, you know what? No, fuck it. Yeah. The Giants, yeah. Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo. I'm going to go start the Giants, bench the Redskins.
Commanders.
They're the Redskins to me, man. They got to switch the name back. They're the Redskins to me. And then I'm gonna cut the Cowboys.
I'm going to start the Commanders, bench the Giants, and cut the Cowboys. I want to save this one for last because it's the most juicy. Let's go O-lines because there are no tight ends really to talk about here. It's all gross. So O-lines, obviously the Eagles is the best in the NFL right now. So Commanders, Giants, Cowboys, start, bench, cut.
Well, cutting the Giants for damn sure. It's putrid. There's some guys that I take on that offensive line, maybe like one or two. No, just one. Never mind. Andrew Thomas. I'm gonna start the Cowboys O-line, even though they're young and rebuilding. Yeah, Tyler is not Guyton. Who's the guy?
Yeah.
Tyler Smith
Guyton,
and Guyton.
Booker.
Yeah, sorry, Booker. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, number one. And then I'm going to go with the Commanders at number two. We've got Tunsil. Oh, they just lost their, what's the guy's name? Sam Cosmi for the year. But, I mean, let's pretend like he's healthy. So, yeah, I'm going to go Cowboys and then Commanders.
I'm again going to start the Commanders, bench the Cowboys, and cut the Giants. On the defensive side of the ball, it's different. The defensive lines, these are some nice fronts here.
I mean, the Giants and, like, the Eagles. Yeah. And the Eagles really only have Jalen Carter.
Well, they have Jordan Davis if he can turn into something.
Losing Sweat and then losing Milton Williams.
Milton Williams is pretty big.
I think it's a no-brainer. It's probably one of the best defensive lines in football. Start the Giants, cutting the Commanders. Starting the Giants, cutting the Commanders, and then
benching the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna bench the
Start the Giants. Start the Giants, bench the Eagles, cut the Commanders, and then for the rest of them, the secondaries are like bad, and then it's the Eagles. But
bad secondary, and then the Cowboys have names like Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, who's also an All-Pro. They technically have two All-Pros or former All-Pros, but it's just like.
But they were never like Deron Bland isn't like shut down corner.
Neither Trayvon.
Trayvon had his year in 22?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Jeez. Yeah. All right, wide receiver. This is the big one. CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Malik Nabers, Terry McLaurin.
Damn, that's hard.
Start, bench, cut.
You're cutting two guys though.
You're cutting two guys, and then also we'll do a start, bench, cut for who you would want for the next 5 years. So for right now. Who would you take? Start, bench, cut.
I'm going to go CD. I think CD's younger, right? CD's younger than AJ Brown because AJ Brown's like 27 or 28, something like that. I'm going to go CD, start CD.
This is for right now.
Yeah. Bench Malik Nabers and then cut AJ.
Dude,
I love Malik Nabers.
Right now.
When we get to the next segment, you're going to know how much I love Malik Nabers. And you know how much right now. Yes,
you would take Malik Nabers over AJ Brown.
1,000%.
Hold on.
Dude, Malik Nabers is so good.
You just said a couple weeks ago that AJ Brown is better than CeeDee Lamb.
I didn't say. I said they're comparable.
You said they're.
I said that what they do in both.
Same.
Both what they do in.
You
both,
said they're on the same tier.
Yes, but he's older.
So what is AJ? If it's right now, you're taking Malik Nabers over AJ.
Malik Nabers. I think he's gonna be like a top. I think.
But I'm not asking you. Then that's in a couple minutes.
Honestly, even then Malik Nabers, over AJ Brown. Bro, Malik Nabers
now.
Malik Nabers, and I'll not forget just right now, just like skill wise or like traits wise. Malik Nabers runs like a 4.31.
Sure, he's faster.
He's fast. He's explosive. Is
AJ Brown not explosive?
I'm not saying he's not. but I want Malik Nabers. Why is that a problem? It's my start bench cut.
Okay.
Like AJ Brown is great. No one's saying he's not. But
That's
I want
crazy.
Malik Nabers over him.
Okay, CD for sure start. Bench AJ Brown, obviously. And then Nabers and McLaurin are getting cut. I love Malik Nabers, by the way. Like, I have him. He's one of my
I
keepers.
like AJ Brown too, and then there's no harm.
Now
against
let's
him.
reverse it. Let's go that way because
Next
this is going to
5
be
years?
awesome. Next 5 years, start bench cut.
Malik Nabers #1.
Wow.
I mean, CD is obviously great. Malik Nabers, when I showed you my draft list that I'm very, very proud about like how I ranked them, and I ranked Malik Nabers #1 over Marvin Harrison Jr. I think I named 1B over with Marvin Harrison Jr. I remember, but I did say he was going to be the best wide receiver in the class, and I still stand by that. He literally is one of the greatest wide receiver prospects we've ever seen coming out of college. He's not in like the top, echelon of prospects. There's obviously better prospects, but he's literally so damn good. Like, profile wise, metrics, everything on Malik Nabers' name is just outstanding. Not only is he as explosive, he can run routes. I think he has some problems with drops and just catching the ball sometimes. But I think that's something that he's going to clean up and just be great like every other LSU wide receiver. Like I literally think he's just like Jamar Chase. I mean, not as powerful.
I don't think he's as good of a runner with the ball.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not after the catch as Jamar Chase.
Like when you say explosive, I feel like he's more of like outbreaking routes. Like he can get open and be explosive.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's like
a big play machine though. He can once he gets in open space, forget he can't run over people, but he's just so good in open space. I think Malik Nabers is #1.
So then you would just have CD?
CD as my #2, obviously, because he's 26, 27 years
26,
old.
yeah.
5 years. I mean, by 31 years old, I mean
he'll be able.
And then I have Malik Nabers, who's he'll be 27 years old at the time. So it's just age wise, we're both great wide receivers. D. Lamb is one of the best route runners we have in the league today. I don't think his skills gonna wane by the time he's 31 or whatever. But I just think that Malik Nabers, what he provides is as an athlete and just an overall receiver is just, has better longevity than what CD does. Or not longevity, but for the next 5 years in terms of production. And then, I'm going to cut Terry McLaurin because he's already 30 years old. So just because of age, I'm just going to cut him. And then, we're cutting both AJ and Terry McLaurin in this situation. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, if we were to rank them, man, it's tough.
Is it tough? I don't think it's that tough.
Because
the next 5 years, you factor in age and production.
Think about the last 3 years for CD. He's had an injured Dak Prescott. He's had another injured Dak Prescott. And then he was the #1 receiver.
Yeah.
And, man, I think it's CD. I'm going to go CD at 1. And Malik, again,
for the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years, I'll take CD at 1 because I think he's going to be one of the best receivers. I think this year he makes the jump to, join the Jettas and the Jamar Chase combo.
He's in the top 3. He's in the top 4 or 5-ish already.
Who's 3?
What, you got Jettas, Jamar Chase,
and CD.
Oh yeah, CD. Yeah, he's a top 3, top 4. Yeah. You're talking about that type of dominance still, as a receiver.
I mean, look what he did last year.
I think that
last year he had that dominance.
I think he's gonna be like Devontae, who's always gonna be a great wide receiver, but because he wasn't super fast.
Devontae Adams, you're saying.
He wasn't so because he's not elite speed wise. It's gonna be hard for him to be the top.
He's not elite speed wise, but he's so shifty.
Yeah, he's a great separator.
He's elusive.
Great separator.
With the ball in his hands, he just makes plays happen. Yeah. All right, so we're really high on Malik Nabers. Let's do a would you rather. Wide receivers edition. Malik Nabers. Would you rather Malik Nabers or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Malik Nabers.
Pretty easy one. Malik Nabers is.
I don't know. It's an easy one. I think there's definitely a cause for debate.
I feel
the year that Brian Thomas just had. I mean, we got to respect that.
He had a great year, but if you actually watch the film, he was getting open and making pretty routine catches, and it was speed, and it was getting him the ball in space, and he was running. There was no he was a great route runner, making contested catches over taking the top off.
He's pretty good, especially considering his size and speed and just overall athleticism.
He's definitely an athletic receiver. I don't know.
Quarterback play also plays a factor in their production, so you can't really go off just production. But
he has Trevor Lawrence versus friggin' who did he have? Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito last year. Drew Lock.
Yeah, definitely.
We did Terry McLaurin already. Obviously, it's Malik Nabers there. Let's do Drake London.
Oh, Malik Nabers, what the hell? Not even going to think about that twice.
Malik Nabers is the answer for me as well. Another guy that is kind of in that range, Garrett Wilson.
He's not in that range. Garrett Wilson's one of the most overrated wide receivers who's supposed to be breaking out year after year after year, but never has broken out. And then they want to blame, shitty quarterback play, but Malik Nabers, he's not the same athlete as Malik Nabers is. Maybe in the similar category as like a route runner. Maybe you're like he's just not as explosive.
We haven't seen the best of Garrett Wilson yet because when he was breaking out last year, the Jets
Was he breaking out last year?
He was breaking out last year.
Oh,
And then
man,
the
he's
Jets
been breaking out every
decided
year.
to bring in Devontae Adams, and that just capped his ceiling basically. So I want to see what he does this year, especially with a guy like Justin Fields who's going to hyper target him like he did with DJ Moore on the Bears a couple years ago. Let's do. Oh, this one's interesting. Malik Nabers or Nico Collins
Right now. Nico's solid. Damn, that one's hard. I love Malik Nabers so much. I think it's a lot closer, but I think Nico's just. They're both different receivers though. Nico's like your traditional X,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also a slant merchant too.
Nico
is
can't
Malik,
do
though. Malik gets a lot of snaps at slants though.
Yeah, but that's because the QB play in the offense.
Yeah.
Malik can be that dynamic, move him around, versatile receiver like a Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I don't think Nico has that in his game.
Yeah, he can't play that as a slot. Drafted 2 slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Malik Nabers. Just overall skill, and I think that you can get the same production. Yeah,
I'm going to go Malik Nabers.
That one's hard though. That one's actually pretty hard.
Malik
been pretty
Nabers
solid.
or Tyreek Hill.
Malik Nabers. I
Malik
feel like
Nabers.
Tyreek Hill. If you said like maybe 3 years ago,
Malik Nabers or Mike Evans.
Malik Nabers.
Malik Nabers or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Malik Nabers.
I think it's Malik Nabers as well. I do think it's Malik Nabers. This one is hard for me. This one is really hard for me because I still don't know in 2 years where to properly rate this guy. Malik Nabers or Puka Nacua.
I think that
similar play styles, similar skill sets.
In a way, I mean, like what? Puka's he's a big wide receiver. He's like 6'2", 6'3", like 220 something. Like Malik is a lot smaller, a lot faster.
But the shifty that can play on any side of the line.
I think Puka's a better run blocker, but who really cares that much? I think we gotta also rediscuss Amon-Ra St. Brown. You just brushed right over it. Honestly, that's more of a discussion because Amon-Ra's a freaking all-pro. You just said. Anyways,
we can go back.
Yeah, we got to have Amon-Ra. That show's wild. I would still choose Malik Nabers, but Amon-Ra and Puka are very similar. Great run blockers, not the fastest guys. Will kill you with that dig route, shifty slot guys, but they can only play in the slot or reduce that.
I feel like Puka's more versatile than Amon-Ra.
Really?
I think he is. I feel like Amon-Ra can't do he's not explosive.
He's not. Yeah.
He's like a one route type of guy.
Yeah, the dig route.
Yeah, and he does it very well. Don't get me wrong. He's a great blocker in the run game.
Same with Puka.
I just think Puka's more talented. I think Puka's more explosive. And
is Puka explosive?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
And I think Puka's a better actual pass catcher.
I think he looks more natural as a pass catcher. Yeah. But I also I think that's just for what is it? Picking hairs, picking straws, grasping for straws, whatever the hell that's
grasping at straws. Yeah.
Expression is, but
so Malik Nabers, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Puka, Malik Nabers over all of them.
Malik Nabers over all of them.
Yeah, just because he's talented. But I just wanted to discuss it because they're not we just glossed over.
Yeah,
like 2 all pros, 2 guys.
Why is Malik Nabers over Amon-Ra?
I think he's just a better pure wide receiver. I mean, I think Amon-Ra gives you the elite run blocking as a wide receiver, which is a very underrated skill to have. But even then, I want the home run hitter. I think everyone wants a home run hitter. You don't want the guy who gets at base. You want the guy who hits a home run. That's what Malik Nabers is.
And Puka to a degree.
They're very efficient wide receivers.
Like Tony Gwynn's. They'll get you that base hit.
Yeah.
But if you want that bomb, you're going to go Malik Nabers. And then one guy that is going to be interesting this year specifically, and obviously going to be interesting throughout their entire careers because they're drafted together, Malik Nabers or Marvin Harrison Jr. Touted as one of the greatest wide receiver draft prospects that we've seen. I never saw it. I didn't label him as a great, a generational prospect. I just didn't see it. And then
what?
I feel like it was always overhyped. Even in college, I thought he was overhyped.
But he was he looked like he just wasn't trying.
Exactly.
That's how good he was.
He was naturally gifted,
that's how good he was.
Great pass catcher for sure. But his route running
outside of effort on every route, there was no weakness in the game. There was no weakness in his game.
I mean, last year you saw so many weaknesses.
Well, no, I think it's just like you're the first year wide receiver entering the league. I think he's going to be just fine. I think, to me, my hot take was that Malik Nabers was the best wide receiver in that draft class. I'm going to still stand by it because Malik Nabers had the better year. Would I be shocked that Marvin Harrison Jr. becomes a top 5, top 3 wide receiver? No, but I think Malik Nabers is in that category also.
Damn, we had Malik Nabers over almost every single one of these guys.
Dude, Malik Nabers is a dog.
The one that I am struggling with is weirdly Puka, but I think Puka's better than Amon-Ra, and I think
Puka better than Amon-Ra. They're both very good blockers.
They're both very good run blockers.
They both play the slot mainly.
They both play the slot mainly. Puka you could put out wide. Amon-Ra you could put out wide.
You can, but you're gonna reduce them. They play in so many reduced sets that you're not gonna see them play like true X or like outside the hash. Give me Amon-Ra just because he's done it longer and he's a multiple all-time All-Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, we're splitting hairs with both those guys, to be honest. I think Amon-Ra is a little bit faster, but they're both like.
But both of them, you would take Malik over both of them.
Yes. Give me the home run hitter.
And then you said you would take Malik over AJ right now.
AJ Brown, yeah, for the next 5 years, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take AJ Brown over Malik. I think that's where I draw the line.
Shit.
Right now, CD then. You said you would take CD.
Right now, I'd take CD over.
Yeah.
Now we're getting like that top
Jettas
echelon. Jettas and Jamar.
We have Malik Nabers. So you basically essentially have Malik Nabers at 4.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if I'm not thinking with like my bias, then I probably wouldn't have him that high. But me, like my unfiltered opinion, yeah, Malik Nabers is like that.
Crazy.
To me, he's a top 5 receiver in the game. And you call me stupid. I don't care. But I think he's literally like that.
Damn, I can't wait to see what the TikTok comments have to say about that. All right, last segment of the day, Mount Rushmore. Let's get into our Mount Rushmore. So on Sunday was honestly one of the greatest sports spectacles we've ever seen. The French Open final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, 5-setter, absolute classic of a match, one of the greatest tennis matches I've ever seen. I keep saying that in this episode. It's the greatest I've ever seen, but it was. Carlos Alcaraz coming back down 2 sets, had 4 match points that he defended, ended up winning the match in 5 sets. Absolute scenes. And then right after that, you had the Spain versus Portugal Nations League final, went to PKs. Portugal ends up pulling out the win, so the Spanish don't win 2 championships on Sunday. And then at night, you had the NBA finals that everyone seems to care about. Oklahoma City versus Indy. I'm just kidding. That's one of the most boring series.
I mean, the first game was
sick. The first game was cool.
Yeah.
Even though that was one of the most gross games.
One of the greatest games you've ever seen.
that was just that jumper that Tally hit was so gross. Yeah. So we thought we'd go back in time, kind of bring you into our world and talk about the Mount Rushmore of our greatest games of our lifetimes that we've seen. Wasé will kick it off. The greatest game.
I'm going to go my number one greatest game that I just remember like it was yesterday. Great moments. Obviously, for those who don't know, I'm a huge LeBron James fan. I think he's the greatest of all time, despite being from Chicago. I know that's very taboo and very, very bad for me as a Chicagoan to believe that, but LeBron James to me is the greatest player of all time. 2016 Game 7 finals against the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, that last 3 minutes where like they're all just gassed and tired. You can literally see on their bodies that they've played a full 7-game series in the playoffs. They've played, obviously, you're playing all the way through the conference finals. And now it's coming down to these last 3 minutes. It's tied 89-89. And like everyone is basically a test of your fitment and how, your endurance and whatnot. And to see LeBron James, like just, one go for the block, have to know how to give the ball to Kyrie and have him, win the game for them. And then winning in Cleveland. I thought that was just one of the greatest moments I've ever seen. 2016, man. That was a year.
Is that the championship that's meant the most to you in your life?
Yeah, considering I didn't really watch hockey like that to love the Blackhawks. The Cubs was cool, but that's only because of the
but like for your heart, like was
that was like I felt like I lived in Cleveland, like, and I was from Cleveland. Like that's how much I love that finals.
That was a great. I mean, that was a great finals. That's probably like the last time basketball was like popping.
Amazing.
Like that. For me, like you mentioned, the 2016 Cubs, that whole year, starting from, I think it was that finals, going all the way into the next March Madness, where it was like the Kevin Jenkins buzzer beater, Chris Jenkins, the Chris Jenkins buzzer beater. That had the Cavs finals, the Cubs World Series, the something hockey related, and the Patriots Super Bowl, and then the Chris Jenkins buzzer beater. Like those 4 championships, stellar. But the Cubs World Series, 7 games, the greatest World Series of all time. I mean, I was in Wrigleyville for Game 7. We were up all game 5-1, and then Cleveland comes back. Aroldis Chapman throws a meatball to Rajay Davis, who knocks it out for a game-tying 2-run shot. I was devastated. Like, that is as low as it's ever gotten for me in sports. 2 innings later, the rain delay comes. Ben Zobrist hits the double. We're World Series champions. A little dribble to Bryant. Picks it up, slips on the way to throwing him out at first base, Rizzo keeping the ball in his back pocket. Everything about that team, all the vibes, like that's the best, one of the best baseball teams I've ever seen. Just from start to finish, like the World Series aspirations being there and then them actually winning it, ending a 108-year drought. The happiest day of my life, literally. I mean, even, I don't know. But November 3rd, 2016. Crazy.
Oh, you look like you're about to cry, man.
I know.
You look emotional.
Where are the World Series at? We like climbed a Taco Bell in Wrigleyville, and like they were like they lifted the sign and just carried it across the street.
Yeah?
Like the freaking goalpost in Tennessee is crazy. Number 2, greatest games. I think.
Is it just games, or are we also talking like sporting moments? Like, what if like it's like a NASCAR moment or something like that, or like a tennis moment or something? Is that fine?
I mean, it just depends on what you want to talk about.
I'm just wondering.
Your podcast as much as it is mine.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the rules of engagement are.
You know, I don't think there's not like quantifiable greatest games a lot in sports, but I think the Nadal Federer Wimbledon 2008 final was just incredible. Like that's the best. Yeah, that's one of the greatest games I've ever seen too. It's definitely like up there as heralded as the greatest tennis match of all time. Nadal winning his first Wimbledon. It's the one trophy that Federer always had. Nadal was like my guy from the beginning because he had NAD in his name, and I was like, and he had like long hair, the tank top. He just had the swag, you know. He had the swag. He was like the speed guy. But yeah, that's
King of Clay.
Yeah,
King of Clay. For me, I'm gonna. It's not gonna be an actual like a teams match, but it's like the Khabib and Conor fight.
Oh, okay.
That was probably to me one of the greatest UFC pay-per-views that I've ever seen. I think that the build up to the fight, obviously it seemed like they had like really bad blood, the two of them. You know, obviously you had like Conor with his over the top, rambunctious, like you know, hateful attitude towards, you know, not just what it seemed like was Islamophobic and also like just ignorant against Chechens and whatnot. I think that buildup was amazing. I think the fight.
Oh, that was like the press conferences and everything, right?
That was wild. Yeah. I think to this day it's still the number one pay-per-view ever sold for UFC. Wow. I remember watching that match with all my uncles in my uncle's cabin house in Wisconsin and all my cousins, and we were so happy that Khabib was dominating. We got a little nervous when he was standing up and fighting, like you know, striking with Conor. We're like, dude, just win it your way. Like, stop worrying about like you know sticking with the best of them or whatever. Sticking with Conor. That was one of the best. And then obviously the fight afterwards, the brawl that happened afterwards, the crowd. I thought that it just all of it together was just such a fantastic pay-per-view. And then for my third, I think this is the greatest playoff game ever. And I don't want to say ever. Ever is just adding a lot to it. But like one of the greatest games I think we've ever seen was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills.
The divisional round.
Yeah. No, was it divisional?
The divisional round.
Oh yeah. Like where they didn't have like the playout, like the overtime regulation rules where both teams.
That's the game that instilled that rule that we have.
Yeah. And so I think that was one of the greatest games I ever played, just because we saw the last 3 or 4 minutes were just amazing.
2-11.
Yeah.
Literally 2-11.
Yeah.
So 13 seconds, the Chiefs do it.
Yeah. And so honestly, one of the greatest games I've ever seen. I think for most fans, it's like forget like the you know, upsets for the Super Bowl, like the Patriots losing or winning, or whatever the case is, like comeback stories. This was just one of the best pure games of just two guys that are like the top at their field and just duking it out. And I think that was like the epitome of what good football looks like. And that's my number 3.
My number 3. Damn, I gotta think about this. There's so many that you can go with. That one's really good because NFL games, like the thing with the NFL is the matchups are always better than the actual game itself.
Yeah.
And there's very, very few times that the game is really good. Yeah. And like, I wouldn't say it like there's so many great games that we talked about this in our last Mount Rushmore with the Super Bowls, like, you know, the Steelers and Cardinals or the Patriots and Falcons. But like the game altogether wasn't as great.
Yeah. It's like everything has to like align for that to be like a great game. Like,
yeah.
We've seen so many like hype matchups on like Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
It, you know, rarely ever does it like go like, oh, this is a great game from top to bottom. I think, but that Bills Chiefs game, two of the best quarterbacks in the league, high powered offenses. You had names on that, both on defense and offense. Man, that's a
game. think I'm gonna go with Clemson, Alabama in the national championship.
That's a great game, yeah.
The Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfrow game-winning touchdown. That game was wild, just wild from the get-go.
Yeah. And it's what made every Bears fan want Deshaun Watson in the draft. Yeah, that game alone.
I mean, that was like the legacy, like the arrow after, and like that's a great game.
Yeah,
that's one of the best college football games ever. See, there's a lot of actually great college football games. Yeah, I mean, like there was Oklahoma and Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl in 2007. Just back and forth. Great game. AP was on that team. He led the charge. It's so terrible now that I think about it because it's 2 Oklahoma games and they're both very similar the way they ended. That game, the Fiesta Bowl against Boise State, and then the 2018 team, Oklahoma versus Georgia, the 2017 team in 2018. The Baker Mayfield, CeeDee Lamb, Rodney Anderson, Mark Andrews team.
That was a loaded team. Mark Andrews was on the team.
Was he on that team? Yeah, he was on that team. And then against Jake Fromm, Nick Chubb, Sonny Michel, and Oklahoma's winning the entire game. And then Georgia comes back at the end. It goes to overtime. Sonny Michel runs it in. So Ian Johnson and Sonny Michel both walk-off touchdowns against the Sooners. Absolute heartbreakers. But those are some great games.
Yeah. That Boise State game was, I'll never forget that game. I remember Ian Johnson proposing to his girlfriend.
Right right. I always wondered if he would have done it.
I wondered if he'd make it to the league and he played for the Vikings for a little bit in the practice squad.
Yeah.
For me, just because it's my memories, and it's the last time I feel like the Bulls were like a really good basketball team. It was that 2010 conference finals.
And
2011, what was it? Yeah,
2011,
yeah. When we beat the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1.
Game 1, yeah.
And we dominated them.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were gonna say the 2014, the Derrick Rose.
No. That Game 1, I felt like we had a chance.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, can we beat? Because we beat the Heat all season. I think we went undefeated against them. I think we went 3-0. And then to see the bench mob and like our starters like outplay the Heat. LeBron James at the height of his powers, Dwayne Wade at the height of his powers, Chris Bosh too. Don't want to forget him. But like to beat like the big 3 and like have that. I remember I was studying for my AP exams, and I literally had exams that like the next day, and I was like, man, I gotta watch this game. And I was watching them while like studying at the same time. And even my dad was like, he would have been like, oh, like go study. Like, what are you doing? It's not important. Even he was like, I understand. You wanted to watch this game and study at the same time. And so that was like, I guess, a moment that I shared with my dad too. So it was really cool. And then, just having like hope for a city that like needed a basketball, like, oh, it's a basketball town over here too. Yeah. I think that definitely was like one of my favorite memories. So to me, that was like one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Just because everything around it.
Yeah, an honorable mention goes to Man City versus Real Madrid. I think that semifinal actually in the Champions League in 2023. That year was like almost a perfect year for me. Like I got married, I had my Mandy, and then the UCL final, the Champions League final was the day in between my Mandy and my Valima. So Man City win the Champions League, and then my Valima. That Man City Real Madrid game, like just like kind of like you're talking about with the Bulls just dominating. Yeah. Literally, like I had so much anxiety. It was during work. I had to go into a separate conference room, lock off the meeting room, and just like watch it. And I was so scared. And then Bernardo Silva scores again. And then it was 4-1. And then it was beautiful. Loved it.
Awesome.
I was thinking, like, what about wrestling?
Oh, 2001, Rock in Austin.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 17. The build-up was great, obviously. 2 of the top superstars at the height of their powers, facing off with one of the best video packages, the greatest video package we've ever seen in our lifetime, the My Way or the Highway, Limp Bizkit, video package. Literally nothing will ever top that promo or that. The match kind of wasn't as great as I wanted it to be because obviously Austin didn't win cleanly, and Vince McMahon interfered and all that stuff. So I wasn't really the biggest fan of the ending of it. But
was that the second one or the third?
That was the second. That was the second match between the two.
Then Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, 2009 maybe?
I don't know, not 2009. Was it 2009?
It's 2009, yeah.
The Hell in a Cell? Or is it the Triple H and when he retires Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
I think that one was better, no?
No, the first one was better.
Triple H being the referee, which one was that one? For Hunter.
Rock Cena.
Rock Cena wasn't that great of a match.
Rock Cena's build-up though was the best build-up I've ever seen.
Build-up, yeah. But I feel like icon versus icon match. I think like Hogan and The Rock was better than Cena because Hogan was still in the business. So The Rock left, and he was like the face of nostalgia.
When he came back, the fact that it was a full-on year build for that match.
But like he left.
That's easily the most hyped up match of all time.
No, I don't think so.
That's easily the most hyped up.
I don't feel like that's the most hyped up match.
Hyped up, yes.
Easily.
More promotion went into that.
I feel like,
yeah.
What do you think, Rock versus Hogan or Rock versus Cena? And then Cody versus Roman.
That was cool. I think like the last like part of that match where like you had all those little cameos of everybody was really, really cool.
It's like a
I
Fast
feel
and Furious
like
movie on
if-
crack.
If Austin was there instead of Taker, I think it would have been one of the greatest endings or, sequences of the wrestling match.
Up there with the sequences wise.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you
Taker
never
was
get
cool
that.
too, but like, because he has history and I guess with the bloodline and whatnot, but
I think the Bloodline's like one of the coolest things.
yeah, I think they're
Roman's
one of the
like-
best factions I've ever
yeah.
seen. And
Roman
I love their
Reigns.
entrances.
I think Roman Reigns like probably the best character.
I think thank God
But
they finally
obviously
developed him
Undertaker.
properly.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Outside
say like
Undertaker.
the best character. I love
Like
that,
think
group.
about like the most aura in sports, right? Like you have Tom Brady, you have guys like Kobe, Michael. Like they walk into their field of play
But that's different.
and they take Mo Rivera walking in for a
Roman's
closer's role.
aura is like, again, at the same time, it's manufactured. Like he was created for the most part of his career. He was pushed and pushed until the fans didn't like it because it wasn't organic enough. And he finally found Paul Heyman saved his ass by putting him around a gimmick that actually made him look.
No, I'm not talking about
Versus like guys that naturally did it,
Listen.
like Austin cutting the Austin 316 promo, The Rock cutting like the Smell with the Rock is cooking promo. Like those are ones that I feel like are
the greatest of all time. Always need that first phase of development. Brady had it in his early years from 2000 to 2005.
But when
Roman
they got
had it when his little with the Vince McMahon stuff. And then what happens after? He gets a new guy that comes in, gets Paul Heyman, and
it's hard for me to put Roman up there as the greatest or whatever when he needs so much help on the mic. He's like not a natural on the mic. He's not even like top. He's not even top 10 ever. Like he's not even anywhere close to being like greatest on the mic. He's not even
sure, but you don't need to be.
He's not better than Angle. He's not better than
Brady the greatest on the mic?
Who?
Brady.
Is
he the best talker?
No, on the mic, like for wrestling?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need that.
The mic skills are more important.
Is The Undertaker the best on the mic? Outside of Roman, who has the most aura all time?
I think
Taker's up there.
Taker's up there. The Rock is up there. The Rock was electric. Electricity was up there.
The Rock
was
he doesn't have aura.
He doesn't have. Yeah, he was just like but he had
like you get happy when he's in the room or something. Like kids go off.
Aura. I think because like when we think about like Roman's aura was like him walking out that tribal chief like
but that's sick.
I love that shit. He goes out. Oh god, that's sick. I honestly go to YouTube and I just watch it. So that's how good it is, man. Like god, yeah. Hollywood theme.
See, the thing with that is that seems manufactured. To me.
Yeah,
that's manufactured to me. Because that's like, all right, you own the company,
and you're pushing the storyline.
Let me make my entrance the most like dynamic, longest entrance. Let me like put all this cool stuff here and make me look cool. Let me insert myself into a story. Like I'm like, all right, dude. Like,
yeah, I think Roman's aura when you see him come out and like he's obviously a chiseled dude and like he like looks good with the little whatever the hell you want to call it, the little necklace, a Hawaiian necklace, Polynesian necklace,
delay.
Yeah, and then just that song when the beat drops. Yeah, that is so it's sick. It's probably the best entrance I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
Perfection.
That's what I'm saying. That's the aura.
Yeah,
like it's up there with like the Undertaker.
Well,
and
he's not great on the mic.
I'm not talking about him. Like
he's solid in the ring. I don't like the mic skills matter. Like that's why Jericho had such a long career and is an all-time great because he's so great on the mic. Angle is one of the best to ever do it because not only was he great in the ring, great on the mic, and he won probably the greatest heel we've ever seen. One of the greatest heels we've ever seen. The mic matters. Being good on the mic, because when you gotta think about it, WWE is soap opera with action. The dialogue matters more than the action does.
It does, but if you have a manager, then it doesn't.
No, but see, like, the fact that you need a manager is why shows that I'm limited in this aspect. Like Brock Lesnar, terrible on the mic. Needs Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman does that for everybody that they need to push or they need someone that's good enough to speak for them because they're not quick enough to speak for themselves. When Cena buried Roman Reigns, that was when I was like, my whole view of Roman just changed. When he goes like, "Come on, kid, you're trying to leave the company," he goes like, "You gotta cut a promo." And Roman was like,
again before Heyman,
bad.
Like the fact that you don't need to talk. You have a manager, and yet you elicit so much aura.
But that's
just off of your presence, and the fact that his cousin won a title, his other cousins they've won title when they're all holding belts together. And that's how you gotta be. You gotta be for the family. You gotta bring the family to the island of relevancy.
When you're considering like overall superstar, to me, Roman's not like a top 5 of all time. He's not even like a top 7 of all time. Like,
what matters most to you?
I think mic skills are really important.
What matters most to you?
Mic skills are number one to me.
Mic skills are number one.
Number one.
So
Mic
Punk
skills
is your GOAT.
Punk is great, but he's not my GOAT. The Rock is obviously one of the greatest of all time on the mic. Seen as one of the greatest.
See, to me, like WWE is a show. It's a scripted, like put on event.
But you need to deliver the script.
But they create characters that are supposed to be captivating the audience. If you have a character that elicits the amount of aura that Roman Reigns has,
aura is a Gen Z term that I just don't respect that much because
I mean, Tom Brady had aura.
No, he doesn't.
Dude,
he's mayonnaise, man.
Dude,
come on.
Tom Brady
does not have aura.
Has aura. When you watch, especially late in his career, you knew, like we were talking about, like we were talking about earlier with like Aaron Rodgers, you knew the game was done. Like the fact that Aaron Rodgers said, "I own you" to the city of Chicago while scoring a touchdown, rushing it in, and doing the title belt. All that stuff. It's aura. It is aura to a certain degree. But Tom Brady was like unspoken aura. Like you knew it was happening. You knew what was going to happen right as you were watching.
I don't even know you call
and
it
with
aura.
Roman,
It's like just inevitability.
When he walks into the room,
it looks cool.
That's it.
It looks cool, but also like
the fact that he makes grown men point their fingers up to the sky.
Yeah, he's a one-two tribal chief. You got to acknowledge him. Yeah. I mean, I like that whole run. Solid.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what they're doing now.
I mean, he's on a part-time schedule anyway, so it's really hard to. They're pushing.
But they should keep it at that. Like,
yeah. Like,
let it be that.
It has to be. It has to mean something with him now.
And him versus Rock is gonna feed families.
I wish.
Hopefully, a long WWE segment.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
sports. I mean, it's sports entertainment.
Sports entertainment. Yes, sir. So that'll do it for our show. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch us on TikTok. I forgot to say in the beginning, this show is now being put together and brought to you by the Dream Sports Network, which is our new little parent company. So catch us on Instagram, hopefully for more training camp stuff.
Solid.
Hut, hike!